so out of touch, so tone deaf. They're railing against gun rights. This is America, people. This is America. Try that in Texas. They're going against gun rights, immigration, amnesty, all these things. Was there any discussion about communion for the divorced or and sexually active? Was there any discussion? Answer me this, George. Was there any discussion about idolatry in Rome, the Pacha idols?
I didn't hear a word about the Amazon Synod, at least not in public. It's possible they may have discussed it in their private sessions, but I didn't hear a single word in public about the Amazon Synod. I didn't hear a single word about Amoris Laetitia's problems,
Yeah.
of granting communion to the divorced and remarried. I didn't hear a single word about the issue of pro-abortion politicians like Joe Biden and communion. You'd think that here we are on the verge of an election year, and the bishops have absolutely nothing to say about whether communion should be distributed to politicians who vote for abortion. I mean, talk about being irrelevant. I mean, the one issue that would make them relevant is withholding communion from pro-abortion politicians, and they won't even discuss the issue anymore. They've basically adopted the Pope Francis's position, which is you give it to everybody.
Yeah, there's so many problems in the American Catholic Church. There are the Vigano allegations. There is the lack of investigation for McCarrick. There's McCarrick living in mid-America near a school. No one wants to talk about that. There is this huge scandal of them receiving so much money for resettling immigrants. No one wants to talk about that. There's this enormous scandal in Rome with these Pachamama idols casting a horrible shadow over the entire Amazonian Synod project. No one wants to talk about that. They come together at these expensive rooms, this expensive hotel. They prance around and they talk about plastic straws, environment, guns. It's ridiculous. It makes me sick.
Yeah, and there's no discussion of the fact that all of Uncle Ted's nephews, like Cardinal Kevin Farrell, continue to exercise immense power in the church. Kevin Farrell is going to be overseeing the next conclave, and Kevin Farrell, I've been told by multiple. Well, I don't know if I should get into this, but I'll just say that Kevin Farrell is a highly compromised figure. And it's going to come out at some point how compromised he is, but there's no discussion of that, and it's an absolute scandal. All the major cardinals, Tobin, Supich, Worrell, Farrell, they're all connected to McCarrick very tightly.
Yep.
They all played a role in enabling him and covering up for him, and yeah, as you point out, the church still hasn't done anything about the fact that he's being housed by Capuchins in Kansas, and he's still on the faithfuls. The faithful are still, or at least the people donating to the Capuchins are still paying for his room and board. And there's a big story there too, because McCarrick has tons and tons of money, and it appears that the church is waiting for him to die so it can get his money. And the other motive is that they don't want him to spill the beans on all these people, on all the gay mafia guys.
Yeah. That's the thing is, McCarrick knows so many stories. He knows about skeletons in closets. And man, if they start trying to punish him or go against him, all he has to do is just call up anyone in the news and start telling stories about any of these guys, including lots of people with red hats, not only here in America but abroad.
So Farrell is playing a role in making sure that report doesn't indict the current leadership of the church, but rather indicts the JP2 and Benedict era. We're going to see a report that'll splash a lot of dirt on the people around JP2 and Benedict, and maybe those two popes themselves.
If Francis continues to live for several more years, they will wait for Benedict XVI Ratzinger to die. When he dies, they will release a lot of investigative reporting, which will lay all the blame partially at JP2's feet, mostly at Ben the 16th's feet, and they will scapegoat him. But they're waiting for him to die.
One of the reasons why the USCCB is appears so out of touch is that there's not a single mention at the meeting of the concerns of the faithful about the direction of the church under Pope Francis.
Yeah.
There's no discussion of that at all. And so how could these guys possibly be representative of their flocks when they can't even acknowledge that the last 6 years have been at the very least just baffling, but at the worst just immensely scandalous.